Hey, what's up everybody? Gibberish here, making a video on how I use ElvUI Profiles. So let's get right into this. On my Hunter right now, I have this DPS profile that I've edited. You can check out a lot of my other YouTube videos. I have many instructional videos of how I edit profiles. So be sure to check those out if you're interested in customizing your own. But once I'm happy with a profile, such as this, I may put this into an installer, or the more likely scenario is me actually exporting this into a TXT file where people can go onto my website, gibberishui.com. I have lots of free ElvUI profiles there, and this is the main mode of how people are gaining access to my profiles and importing them. I have TXT files where it has the profile, the global string, private string, nameplate style filters, thanks to Blinky, my details profiles. Some will actually have my Omni CD and bigwigs depending on it. I mainly do that now just for custom profiles. So people on my Discord, there's an option if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can purchase a custom UI that I'll work with you directly on. Anyways, once I am happy with a profile such as this, I'll quickly export it. So in ElvUI, you can come in, go to Profiles, Export. These are the main strings that you'll need when you export, or in my situation, those are the only strings that I typically will export. If I do make some custom aura filters for a subscriber for their custom profile, I will export those as well. But it's mainly just these profile strings. You'll hit export. I copy and paste these into a TXT file one by one. If you're importing a profile, this is how you do it as well. You just drop your strings into each of these boxes. They're not going to be named when you come into import. They'll be blank like this. But you'll just drop a string, your profile in one, privates in another, global, nameplate style filters, auras. Those are those sections right here for you. Once you've imported them, you just click import. You should reload after, and you'll have whatever profile that you've put in. So that's just a quick way of exporting profiles, sharing it with other people. If you want to put it on Wago, that's the same motion that you would go through. But again, I like to use the TXT files. Wago sometimes doesn't capture all of the text, and we found actually in a quick study that we did, it sometimes alters the text when you put it into Wago, and it doesn't capture everything. So sometimes the private string or global may not fully come through, and you may not get the data text, for example. Anyways, won't get into that. For this profile now on my Hunter, let's say I'm pretty happy with what I've made here, or happy with the import, and I want to maybe go on to my healer and make some changes, because this isn't really set up for a healer. It's more of a DPS layout with these thin frames. We can even go check out the, um, let's see what the raid frames look like. Pretty thin. May need to move those up a little bit so they're not covering the class icon there. But this isn't a very ideal healing profile, but I do like the style of it. So I want to keep this. If I want to go on to my healer, the first thing I'll do is go into profiles, and I'll check the name of this profile. So this is a new profile that's going to be releasing to my Discord, Sayonara. Here's the name of it. I'm going to look at the private string as well. This is for Gibberish Hunt on Stormrage, is my Hunter profile. So if I want to go on an alt and keep the same exact profile, all you would do is get onto that character. You get on whatever alt or character you want if you want to use that same profile. You'd go into ElvUI, Profiles,
Get your feet moving.
go
We
into
got a
Existing
tunnel to blast
Profiles,
open. This kaboom
and
oughta
you would
be
just
good.
find Sayonara, or whatever profile
Say,
was
what do you think washed
what,
down that
what
drain?
you were looking for.
Maybe it's treasure.
to
Or
make sure
maybe
you
it's
keep
monsters.
all of the
And
same
maybe those monsters have
features and things that you had chosen on that other profile, you typically want to go in and use the same private profile as well. So I would also do Gibberish Hunt here and reload. And when you click on a new private profile, you will automatically get a pop-up to reload. So now I'm using that same profile. If I were to go in now on this character and make any changes, when I go back onto my hunter, those changes will occur as well. So you need to be careful. If you want to use the Sayonara profile across DPS characters, you would go in and choose that profile. And if you didn't want to make any changes, you like how everything is, that's great. But let's say, on my healer, I do want to make some adjustments, and I don't want it to affect my hunter profile, my DPS profile. What I would do in this scenario is I would go into the new section and call this Sayonara Healing. Hit OK. You'll see a base profile pop up. All you do now is go copy from and copy the Sayonara profile to this new Sayonara Healing. You can exit this. Make sure to always reload after making an adjustment like that, or importing a new profile, or creating a new one. And now I have two separate Sayonara profiles. I have Sayonara Healing and just the normal Sayonara DPS, let's say. This is what that one's called. Now that I'm on the Sayonara Healing profile, I can make adjustments to it, and it won't affect the other DPS profile. So for my healing profile, I do want to make the player frame maybe a little bit taller. And same with the target frame. And we can adjust some of the power and text here in just a second. But then for the party frames, I also want to make some changes here. So instead of this vertical layout, I'll go into size and position, and I'll choose right and then down. So now they're laying flat horizontally. I want to adjust the height here and make them a little chunkier because I am going to be healing, and maybe I don't need as much width, so I'll shorten them up a little bit. You can hit the movers here, bring them down into the center, make sure I'm on the 0x axis so they're centered. And maybe if I'm picky, I'll try to line up the frames so that they end on the target's end and on the player. I'm not going to worry about that right now. On a DPS profile like this Sayonara one, I'm only showing the 4, but since this is going to be healing, I do also want to see myself. So you can come into visibility and display the player, and there we are. From here, you obviously need to make some adjustments, such as like the raid debuff indicator. I may center this now and put it into the center of the frame. I can put this anywhere, really, even up above. I may go into the custom text now and adjust the name, and to match my player and target, I'm going to put it underneath the frame. I can adjust the health as well, maybe bring it up. Or, since it's going to be healing, maybe I'll zero it out and just put it right in the center. I think that looks pretty good, and maybe make it a little bit bigger. Maybe put the name in the center too. And then you'll see I'm using these class icons from Media Tag. It's portraits. Come into Media Tag, unit frames, portraits, and maybe for party, maybe I'll just disable it so it looks a little bit cleaner, and I'll just keep it on for the player and target. Or you can do something unique as well. Maybe even center the portrait and put it on top. Or you can spread out the frames too for party. And maybe the horizontal spacing, put it out a little bit further and put the portrait somewhere on the left or right if that fits what you're looking for. But anyways, that's just a quick way that you can use profile across different tunes and maybe adjust them just slightly if you have a DPS profile and you also want to have a healing profile with the same stylization, but just maybe a little bit bigger frames. Same thing goes now for the other group units. If I go into raid, this one looks a little bit easier because it's already kind of set up. Maybe I just want to adjust the height a little bit and put it up to 40. Maybe just show one group so it's a little bit more horizontal and flat. And I can place it right in here as well. It needs to go a little bit lower just because of the weak auras. And now, if I'm happy with this, maybe I'll adjust the raid debuff indicator a little bit too, or put the health instead of the name. But then, since I just made that quick adjustment to the height, you can literally just go in now to raid 2 and copy what you just did to raid 1. Just make sure to adjust the number of groups that you're showing for raid 2 and raid 3. So see raid 2 had 5 groups, raid 3 I typically will show 8. Some profiles may just show raid 1, and you'll have 8 groups showing here, so that you don't have to worry about raid 2 and 3, but in most of my profiles, personally, I do have each of them configured. The cool part that you can do as well, once you have the DPS profile and a healing profile created, I can choose this enable spec profiles, and so when I am in my holy spec, I can have the Sayonara healing profile set. For protection and retribution, I can have my Sayonara DPS profile set. So this makes it really easy. Whatever spec I turn into, it'll adjust the profile accordingly. So that's a very quick, dirty way to show how to use profiles. I hope that's helpful. I've seen a lot of questions across the ElvUI Discord and even my Discord of just how to use profiles and how to use them across different characters. So all you'd have to do is come in and choose the existing profile that you've already imported. That goes for profiles that you've used with Altruism. If you've gone through his installer and is using one of the profiles, you don't necessarily have to go through the installer again on one of your alts. You just have to go on the alt, skip the install, and choose the profile in private string and reload, and you'll have that same profile on your alt. And then, again, you can just come in, quickly make a new profile, and copy it from the existing profile and make some adjustments that you want. This is how I customize most of my profiles. So I will literally come in now and just make a new profile based off of this one. I'll go into ElvUI on another character, or even this one. I'll come up with one of my crazy, unique names, copy it from Sayonara, and then just make tons of changes. So even some quick ones that I typically will do is maybe I'll add an information panel and I'll tag the names and text into the info panel. Some super quick, easy adjustments, and like right away this profile is already looking a lot different than it was. I may even, now this could affect FPS, but you could even put in a portrait here, just some alpha. There's so many cool things you can do with ElvUI and with Altruism and then media tag and with Gibberish UI icons that you can make these profiles pretty unique and stand out, and you can make a lot of different ones. But anyways, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if this video is helpful. Join the Discord, discord.gg/gibberish. Would love to hear your thoughts and any ideas that you have for other videos that I can make in this more instructional series. See you on the next one.